Reading has always been one of my favorite things to do. I read all sorts of books, from niche reading topics like Brave New World to every sort of history book to my favorite book of all time, The Life of Pi. But in recent years, I started spending more time reading a particular subset of books. It may come as a shock to you, I know, finance books. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dollars and Cents, helping you make sense of making dollars. In this video, I want to talk about 3 particular books that really shaped the way I think about investing in finance altogether. The first of those being the very first book on finance I ever read, The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by Jack Bogle. Bogle was the head of Vanguard, one of the largest asset managers in the world, and some of the key takeaways from this book that I got were indexing is the best way to go over long periods of time for the average investor. And this is because the average investor is usually unable to beat an index of the largest companies in the US over long periods of time. The top 500 investable companies in the US is one such index and is managed by Standard & Poor's. This is often referred to as the S&P 500. The S&P 500 has since become a benchmark for investors the world over. And the first person to ever create a low-cost index fund around the S&P 500 was actually Jack Bogle himself. This index fund is actually still around today, and you can invest in it. The ticker symbol is VFINX. Another main argument of the book is that indexing leads to lower costs because costs are the killer of returns. I'll leave a really interesting article in the description below from NerdWallet, which goes into this idea a little bit deeper and explores the idea that millennials can lose up to $600,000 with investments that incur just a 1% fee over long periods of time. This leads me to my second book, which is The Little Book That Beats the Market by Joel Greenblatt. This book proposes a way of investing that over time tends to beat the market, using the average companies with the highest earnings yield and the highest return on invested capital. You hold them for 1 year and then you rebalance. Beats the market, supposedly. The biggest takeaway for me wasn't necessarily Joel Greenblatt's process, but having a process in general. I am a very strong believer in the idea that every investor should have a process for valuing companies and shouldn't stray from that process. Like at all. Because straying from this process can lead to FOMO, or fear of missing out, and this is very bad and can lose you lots of money. Just look at some of the incredible losses posted from investors in just the last couple of months. A lot of investors lost a lot of money buying into these hyped up quote-unquote growth companies. And finally, we have my favorite finance book of all time, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This book takes a wildly different approach to finance. Instead, it examines the psychology of why we do what we do. This can lead us to be able to recognize bad habits and fix them. Originally written as a blog post from 2018, The Psychology of Money was written as a way of examining 20 different ideas all relating to the way we perceive finance. It takes on really big ideas like never having enough in terms of money and how the rich and powerful do crazy things because of this insatiable urge to collect more. My personal favorite chapter is one labeled Confounding Compounding. This uses the example of Warren Buffett, who at the time of writing was worth $84.5 billion. A whopping $84.2 billion came after his 50th birthday, and takes an overall look at the sheer power of compound interest. And one of the final 3 ideas is called the seduction of pessimism, and the idea presented is more true today than ever before. It seems like pessimism is ever looming, and for whatever reason, we all love it. This has led many influencers and financial analysts to proclaim their predictions of the next crash non-stop. Overall, I think all 3 of these books should be on everyone's must-read list. They can give you the most comprehensive view in finance and investing around, whether that's only using index funds or trying to find a process that works best for you, or breaking down the how and why of our money-making decisions. That's why I especially love and highly recommend The Psychology of Money to everyone, not just investors. It's my absolute favorite finance book, and if you take anything away from this video today, I hope it's that you'll pick up a copy of any of these to read for yourself too. Well, that's all I have for you this time. This video was a little different from my usual style of videos, but I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. Of course, leave your favorite book recommendations, finance or not, in the comments section below, or hop over to my Discord to talk more. I'm down to read anything. Until next time, I will see all of you in the next episode of Dollars and Cents.